Abrams tanks delivered to the Iraqi army had been captured or destroyed by ISIL. By December 2014, the Iraqi army only had about 40 operational Abrams left. That month, the U.S. State Department approved the sale of another 175 Abrams to Iraq. The tanks may be fitted with additional protection features to defend against ISIL mine, roadside bomb, and other attacks including belly armor, reactive armor, 360-degree night vision sensors, mine-clearing blades and rollers, and a wide-area spotlight-equipped remotely operated gun mount. If approved by Congress and funded by the Iraqi government, the improvements could be made within 18 months. By late 2015, some Iraqi Abrams tanks that had been dropped off at repair facilities were re-equipped with Russian heavy machine guns firing Iranian-manufactured ammunition, which may violate sales agreements prohibiting material usage by Shiite militias and the unsanctioned addition of foreign weapons. From February to April 2016, Iraqi army forces took back the town of Hit from ISIL. 3 Iraqi-operated M101 Abrams tanks took part in the operation, but 2 broke down early on. The lone working Abrams performed exceptionally in combat, destroying enemy IEDs, punching holes in defenses, and maneuvering between multiple engagements. U.S. forces monitoring Iraqi movements thought multiple tanks were in operation and were surprised to learn it had been working alone, crediting its success to the U.S. trained crew. The Abrams was nicknamed the Beast and has achieved somewhat of a folklore status among the Iraqi people. In October 2017, Iraqi M101 Abrams tanks were cited by Kurdish sources as key to the Iraqi victory at the Battle of Kirkuk, as the Kurdish Peshmerga possessed no weaponry which could counter the tanks. However, later in the war at Altan Kopri and Zuma, the Kurdish Peshmerga destroyed 2 Iraqi Abrams tanks in 2 days with the Milan missile system. Yemeni Civil War, 2015-present, edit. Starting from 2015, the Saudi Arabian army deployed their M1 tanks during the Saudi Arabian-led intervention in Yemen. While the exact number of losses is not clear due to poor reporting from the conflict, it became clear that a certain number of Saudi tanks were lost to enemy forces using ATGMs, RPGs and mines. During summer 2016, a deal to sell 153 more M1 tanks to Saudi Arabia was revealed, with 20 of them being tagged as battle damage replacements, implying that a similar number of Saudi M1 tanks were lost to the enemy. Afghanistan, edit. Operating tanks in Afghanistan can be difficult due to the terrain, although Canada and Denmark have deployed tanks to Afghanistan that have been specifically upgraded to fight in the tough Afghan environment. The U.S. sent 16 M101 Abrams tanks and 115 Marines to southern Afghanistan to support operations in the Helmand and Kandahar provinces in late 2010. Russo-Ukrainian War, edit. This section needs expansion. You can help by adding to it. May 2024. Future, edit. During the 1980s and 1990s, the Block 3 main battle tank from the Armored Systems Modernization (ASM) program was expected to succeed the M1 Abrams family in the 1990s. The design has an unmanned turret with a 140mm main gun, as well as improved protection. The end of the Cold War would ultimately end the program. The tracked M8 armored gun system was conceived as a possible supplement for the Abrams in U.S. service for low-intensity conflict in the early 1990s. Prototypes were made but the program was cancelled. The 8-wheeled M1128 mobile gun system was designed to supplement the Abrams in U.S. service for low-intensity conflict. It has been introduced into service and, though mobile, it has proven to be quite vulnerable. The U.S. Army's Future Combat Systems XM1202 mounted combat system was to replace the Abrams in U.S. service and was in late stages of development when funding for the program was cut from the DOD's budget. In September 2009, the Army Times and Marine Corps Times published reports that U.S. Army researchers have begun the process of designing a version of the Abrams that will carry the M1A3 label. According to the reports, the Army is seeking to reduce the weight of the vehicle to approximately 60 tons from its current operational weight of roughly 75 tons. Additionally, the M1A3 may incorporate a new generation of advanced networking capabilities and enhanced armor protection. Other improvements are to include a lighter 120mm gun, added road wheels with improved suspension, a more durable track, lighter armor, long-range precision armaments, and infrared camera and laser detectors. A new internal computer system is also planned, with current cabling replaced by fiber optic cables that can reduce weight by 2 tons. The Army had planned to build prototypes by 2014 and to begin to field the first combat-ready M1A3S by 2017, but this never came to pass. Instead, the U.S. Army produced incremental improvements to the M1A2 in the system enhancement packages, culminating in the M1A2 SEPV3. The SEPV4 had begun testing when the program was cancelled. Instead, the Army would focus efforts on restarting development of the M1A3, which would again focus on reducing weight. Production, edit. The military planned to close the M1 Abrams factory in Ohio from 2013 to 2016 to save over $1 billion. In 2017 the plant would reopen to upgrade existing tanks. The downside to the 3-year plant closing is the loss of the skilled human capital required to build the M1. These types of job skills must be learned on the job as the building is too unique to offer any type of educational program in a trade school environment. By August 2013, Congress had allocated $181 million for buying parts and upgrading Abrams systems to mitigate industrial base risks and sustain development and production capability. Congress and General Dynamics were criticized for redirecting money to keep production lines open and accused of forcing the Army to buy tanks it didn't need. General Dynamics asserted that a 4-year shutdown would cost $1.6 billion to reopen the line, depending on the length of the shutdown, whether machinery would be kept operating, and whether the plant's components would be completely removed. They contended that the move was to upgrade Army National Guard units to expand a pure fleet and maintain production of identified irreplaceable subcomponents. A prolonged shutdown could cause their makers to lose their ability to produce them, and foreign tank sales were not guaranteed to keep production lines open. Even though money is being spent to protect the industrial base, some feel those strategic choices should not be made by members of Congress, especially those with the facilities in their district. There is still risk of production gaps even with production extended through 2015. With funds awarded before recapitalization is needed, budgetary pressures may push planned new upgrades for the Abrams from 2017 to 2019. In December 2014, Congress again allocated $120 million, against the wishes of the Army, for Abrams upgrades including improving gas mileage by integrating an auxiliary power unit to decrease idle time fuel consumption and upgrading the tank's sights and sensors. At the end of 2016, tank production /refurbishment had fallen to a rate of 1 per month, with less than 100 workers on site. However, the Trump administration entered office in 2017 and made rebuilding the military a priority, thus the Lima Army tank plant was given a new lease on life. It was reported in 2018 that the Army had ordered 135 tanks rebuilt to new standards. Employment was over 500 workers and expected to rise to 1,000. Program Managers, Edit. This section needs expansion. You can help by adding to it. December 2023. 1 Lieutenant General Robert J. Barra, July 1972 July 1977. 2 Lieutenant General Donald M. Babers, July 1977 June 1980. 3 Major General Duke D. Ball, July 1980 May 1983. 4 Major General Robert J. Sunel, June 1983 July 1984. 5 Colonel William R. Rittenhouse, July 1984 February 1987. 6 Colonel Joseph Raffiani, Jr., M101, September 1983 June 1987. 7 Colonel John E. Longhauser, June 1987. Notes, edit.